All right, now we're going to compare the old harness with the new one. So I'm going to compare the old with the new. We got the firewall. Now here's the difference. This is the one we talked about before. You can see the screw hole, so that mounts, and these are free on the new one. So I may transfer this over to this harness. I'm not quite sure yet. Oh, looks like we're all good. I don't recall what this purple loop is. But I'll look it up and I'll display that on the screen, but it doesn't appear on the original. All right, let's get busy, get to work. Okay, so as you can see here, the new fuse box does not come with fuses, so you'll need to take out the old and put them in the new. All right, I'm gonna start by pulling this section up and over the right side of the steering column and get it all on that side. And then these guys end up just to the right of the steering wheel. Those are your instrument cluster. And the new cabling does have the mounting tabs on it, so these will kind of guide you to where the main body of the harness goes. There you can see an old one right up here that came off the original wire, so I'll pop that out, and that's where the first, you can literally run your hand along the wire, and when you find this, that's where that goes. So that'll help you immediately orient the harness correctly, and then from then on, it's just, you know, plug and play. The first thing I'm going to do is get the this main connector, firewall connector here, in place. So I put the grommet around it first. I think I'm going to try it that way rather than put the grommet in and try to put the plug in. So look at the orientation of your old plugs. So they're going to want to have this in this position. So let's see how hard it is to get in there. Put the grommet in and try to push it through from the inside. All right, so the small slot will go in the bottom, just like so. Okay, that's in. Not quite right. Rotate it a little bit. That's a little off, but that's not too bad. All right. Well, that was easier than I thought. It actually pushed in there pretty easy. It's not 100% seated, but there, I think that just popped in. Huh, I put it in upside down. Okay, so we've got the grommet in. This seems to be the way to do it. Okay. Finally, got it. All right. Looks good. So definitely it appears the way to go is put the grommet in first and then the connector. Obviously it comes from inside to out, but it went in pretty easy. Matter of fact, it didn't lock as tightly in the groove that I thought it would, but I think we're good. Let's get back at it. So next we're going to mount the, well, there's the connector from the other side. Get a camera in here. There we go. Next we're going to put the fuse box right up there in those two holes. Again, the screws are quite long, and if you have a small deep well 1/4 inch socket, that works really well. All right, so I'm gonna put that on. I won't film that, and I'll be right back. Okay, we've got the fuse box mounted. Now we'll pull our nut back here, and we've got this guy. I have to put the camera down a minute. Okay, and then remember that underneath this tab here, press this back down. So this guy is for the dimmer switch. This guy goes up here somewhere. I can't remember quite. I'm gonna have to check the film. I think it goes in one of these vertical connectors. All right, we got to remember to come back and take care of this guy. So next up, we've got the steering column connectors right here, and they go in here. So again, I'm gonna put the camera down. Okay, I think these will go in. This is two different connectors, and I think they'll go into the receiver connector either way. So just match wire colors. See, we got green, blue, light blue, and pretty much the same. It's not an exact color match. Purple on the end, two different flavors, and then yellow and green and so on. Make sure you get those connected right. And I believe next will be headlight connector. So I'll put that on. That goes right here, of course. And I'll be right back. All right, I could not get this light switch connector to go on, and I don't know if it's just a little bit off in its design, but I tried to force it on. I bent some of the pins in my switch. Put down the light here. Bent some of the pins in there. So I straightened those back out, and I've taken the switch out, obviously. And if you don't know how to do that, this trim tab is really set to accept a screwdriver. So that's how you screw it on. Before you take it off, you have to, on the back of the light switch, there's this push button. And you press that button, and then you can pull the knob and shaft out of the switch. So once this is pulled out, loosen that guy up, and you're left with this. All right, so now I'm going to carefully put this on the connector, and then remount the light switch. So we got the light switch back in, the connector is on. We have attached the wire at that first attach point, and now we're working on the other side of the steering wheel. We've added another mystery wire to the mix, this white one. I don't recall what that is. I'm gonna have to check the disassembly video and see where that goes. So that's the second mystery wire we got to come back to. And this guy down here. Up here we've got the two. That's for the instrument cluster, so we won't do anything with them right now. And next will be the ignition switch. That's the only connector that has these little keepers on it, so easy to identify. All right, I'll be right back. All right, unlike the headlight connector, this ignition switch connector went on really nice. Of course, it's a little bit easier to see while you're doing it. I didn't have to remove it or anything, so there's plenty of room under here. Remember, these the yellow and white wires are for the brake light switch, which is right there, that guy. You can see the little cylinder you can see, and then the terminals are to the left or towards the driver. All right, so I'll get those hooked up. I don't think it matters which one goes to which, but I'll double check. Okay, so I went inside to look at the earlier video on my laptop to find out what those first 4 mystery wires. And doing so, I remembered that when I did the harness comparison earlier, this guy fell out of it. And I think, well, I don't think, I know that this end connects to the windshield wiper switch on the outboard side. Inboard side is this white wire that's actually part of the harness. So that goes inboard, and then this guy here goes outboard, and then the other end of this goes over to the windshield wiper motor and water pump, windshield washer pump, whatever you want to call it. So this was tangled up in the harness. I thought it was part of it. So this does not have to come off. So all your windshield wiper connectors for the motor, pump, and the switch, all that can stay on. The only one that needs to come off is the single white wire that we just looked at. All right, so the other mystery wire was this guy here, and it goes right here, second slot up, and you can see, hopefully, let me get this closer. It says right there, right on it, gas gauge. It says it on the old fuse box, but that one was so faded I couldn't read it. So that's what that is. So that's 2 of the 4 mystery wires. Actually, there's a third, that green wire. I'm still not sure on the last mystery wire over by the fuse box, so we'll get back to that. The last few mystery wires are for the brake light switch, and in my truck the white wire goes on the bottom. Okay, so now we've got these 2 brake light switch connectors put in. Again, this is our ignition switch, which we did. It's hard to see, but right there is another attachment point. So everything's looking kind of nice and neat now. So the next item will be this connector that feeds the tail lights and everything. I don't know what this green wire is for. The old harness doesn't have it. So I'm gonna just leave it on this side. Just gonna shove that through, and I'm gonna make the connections on the other side because the other connector pushes from the engine bay into the passenger compartment. Okay, so from the engine bay, we've connected the 2, and I pushed that grommet in as best I can. The grommet is actually physically part of the taillight harness, that wire that goes down and back. All right, back inside. Okay, looking through the glove box, we're gonna fish this final wire up through here. That is the engine connector. Just leave that right there, and we'll go push the grommet in from the engine bay. Put this connector in there. There are, I don't know if you can see, there's slots. It doesn't matter which way you orient it, I don't think. I'm just going to put them up and down just so I can remember easily. All right, again, orientation up and down, and I'll go push the connector through from the inside. All right, so it is in. We don't have anything to hook up to it yet because we've got this brand new connector to put in. Still don't know what this green wire is for. There's nothing close to it. So that remains a mystery. Let's look right here. The infamous windshield wiper motor and pump. All this apparently is its own harness. I did not realize that. So In my truck, everything kind of ran together. So I just pulled everything out. I ended up pulling the harness. All right, so shifting gears here. This is that heater harness that I removed inadvertently. So I'm gonna put that back in. This triple plug goes right back here. And then the orange one goes right here on the side of the motor. So I'm gonna put the camera down to do that. Okay, originally we had the pink and white wires up here, thinking that's where they went. They don't. Again, this is that heater harness. So that's where this goes, and it covers all the pins up there. And then we've got one brown wire left on the heater harness that remains a mystery. I think this must go to the fuse box. But again, gotta look at the original film. So this is back to being a mystery. All right, onward. All right, turns out we pulled out two tiny harnesses that we didn't need to. The second one is the windshield wiper harness. So what we've got is this guy. So the yellow goes here, and the black goes here. Oh, not even pointing the camera. Okay, you can see where the yellow goes here, and the black goes there, and then this guy powers it. Or I don't know about powers it, but it goes there. And then our mystery connector that is on the wiring harness, the main wiring harness, is this guy. I'm gonna have to go look to see what color goes where. Hang on. Just to show you how I do my detective work, I downloaded everything onto my laptop. And so we're gonna go over here for a single plug. So you can see pink is next to yellow. All right, so let's go make it so. Pink next to yellow. Alrighty. All right, pink next to yellow. And then what we have left on this harness, I would imagine, goes over to the windshield wiper switch. So we'll plumb it up through the top and over. I won't film that, we'll just follow the harness. Okay, so the other end of the windshield wiper harness is back through the dash. So I'm just gonna leave it hanging here because this is a 2-prong plug and it's a 3-prong switch. So I'm guessing power needs to go in. Maybe that's what this guy is. You know, I bet you that is. But we'll find that out. So here's another reason to film everything you do. So we're gonna do a little detective work here again. Two separate plugs on it. Okay, these guys. The single plug was inboard, and then the angle plug towards the outside of the car. All right, so we know the single plug is on a white wire, and one of our few remaining mystery wires is a white wire. Just going by feel here. Here's the white wire. All right, let me try it with my other hand. Okay, that pin is on like a 45-degree angle, so it made it a little bit difficult. And now we know that this guy is the other connector. Kind of goes in on an angle too. That's weird. That went on nice. Nice little click. Alrighty, so we've got our windshield wiper switch wired up. We're getting pretty close to done. I'm gonna go do a little bit more detective work on that brown wire, see where it goes in the fuse box. You've got this wire. I'm not sure what these are, but this is a brown wire. All Alright, so I'm going to route this brown wire. I won't film it, and then we'll plug it in to the fuse box. Okay, now our infamous brown wire goes in. The top side connector there. That's on the that's a 10 amp. All right, we still have a mystery with this green wire. I think that's our last mystery wire. And I also need to see where this mounting pin belongs, because when I got the truck, this was hanging loose. So I'll figure that out and I'll film it when I put it in place. Let's revisit the mystery wires one more time before we wrap up this video. We'll start down here by the fuse box. That does not exist on my original harness, so I'm just choosing not to worry about it. Then over above the gas pedal, again, this is the connector that goes back and feeds the taillights and license plate illuminator. This also does not exist on the original harness, so I'm not going to worry about that one. And last but not least, this purple loop, which I've checked around on YouTube, and the majority opinion is this is intended to feed a neutral safety switch. And then the green wire with the angled plug, it simply does not exist on my harness. So I'm going to tuck this all out of the way up here above the steering column, and that's where that's going to live. So I think we're about to wrap up, but be sure to watch the instrument cluster reinstall, which will be a separate video. There's going to be an important issue to cover here. Let's go over the bench. Because if you recall, the new harness came with individual female connectors for the instrument cluster harness. This 4-prong one fit, this one did not. So I ended up having to transfer wires to the old connector, and that'll be covered in that instrument cluster video. So I think we're ready to wrap up. Hello again, and that's a wrap. Thanks for watching this video. If you haven't watched part 1, you might want to do that first before you take off on this project. So good luck with your truck, and we'll see you down the road. It's about time to wrap up this video, so I wanted to just follow up on the mystery wires because some still remain a mystery. So down here at the fuse box, I said so again. I can't stop saying so. All right, starting again.